Travis Wayne Goodsell. Come on, guys, let me live my life. Quit forcing me to do videos to save yours. Dear God. Now I've got a person commenting that the church is supporting Ukraine. Think, Travis. They don't have a temple in Russia. They don't want... Oh my God. Why? Have you forgotten? Why won't you just study, Mormons? That's all you had to do, and you can't do it. You get the Book of Mormon, and you choose. Is it true, as the church tells us, as non-Trinitarian Christianity? It's true. I feel it. It's true. The church, therefore, is true. Oh my God. You guys just don't think. Oh my God. And so this is how to teach you how to study. Because you won't do it. Where's my therapist that I can have sex with instead of man-hugging? Bad Boys 2. I'm not angry. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. You're saying I'm not angry is making me angry. See, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to watch Bad Boys. I'm watching NCIS right now, but I can't because I gotta save your lives. God. All right. Missionaries come knocking on your door, or they corral you on the street. Say, the golden question, have you heard about the Book of Mormon? And no, I haven't heard about the Book of Mormon. You don't know about anything about the church. You've not gone online, you haven't watched social media and all the critics, Ex-Molech, Self on the Shelf, New Name Noah, none of that. And so, obviously not anything from the church. And they go, we'll give you a free book. Thanks. And depending on the missionaries, they may overdo it, try to take away your agency, and force you into their belief system. But we'll just assume they gave you the book and said, hey, we'll come back in a week, see what you think about it. And of course, you have to throw in the end, Moroni 10, 3-5, and remove manifest, physical manifestation of reality, not a spiritual witness, but they'll try to fool you into thinking it's a spiritual witness. And so that kind of ruins this example, because you know that manifest means a physical reality and not a spiritual witness. So when you hear them read it to you as you're reading it in the Book of Mormon, and then they tell you you'll get a spiritual feeling that it's true, you already know they're full of it, as they're just little kids who don't know anything about their own religion. And so in this scenario, I guess, we'll have to say that, okay, well, they're just little kids. They don't know. They're giving me a free book. I might as well read it. See what it has to say. So you start from the beginning. You don't start in 3 Nephi 11. You don't start at the end. You start at the beginning. And technically you could do the Book of Mormon, an account written by the hand of Mormon upon plates taken from the plates of Nephi. Wherefore, it is an abridgment of the record of the people of Nephi. Okay, this is what the story is about. And also of the Lamanites, written to the Lamanites, who are the remnant of the house of Israel. Okay, and also to the Jew. Okay, the modern Orthodox Jew, right? That's the only Jew I know of. I'm brand new at this. I'm investigating now. And Gentile, written by way of commandment. Commandment, huh? And also written by the spirit of prophecy and revelation. So it's not a literal history. Because again, I'm somewhat intelligent to know that manifest means the 5 physical senses, but these little kids gave me a free book. So I'm going to read it, investigate it. And now I'm finding out right at the very beginning, it's not literal history. So this is interesting. It piqued my interest. It's talking about a prophecy of revelation for the latter days. I know about the book of Revelation. I know about the Bible. And so I'm going to be able to use this to my advantage to cheat for this hypothetical. Written and sealed up and hid up unto the Lord, that they might not be destroyed. Whoa, the spirit of prophecy and revelation of a threat. That this book needs to be preserved, to come forth by the gift and power of God unto the interpretation thereof. Not translation? Sealed by the hand of Moroni, and hid up unto the Lord. But we already know it's a spirit of prophecy and revelation, so it's not a literal history. This is the story. It's a record of the people of Nephi, and also of the Lamanites, and thus in the prophecy form, a revelation form, having something to do with the latter days. I'm familiar with the Bible, so I know about the latter days. I know about the book of Revelation, about the latter days. So this is kind of interesting. It's piquing my curiosity, because I don't know anything about the church. These little kids don't know what manifest means in the physical realm, but they gave me a free book, and now I'm curious. I want to know more. And again, with interpretation, not translation. But yeah, it then says translated by Joseph Smith Jr. An abridgment taken from the book of Ether also. But again, spirit of prophecy, spirit of revelation. So, like the book of Revelation, it's not a literal history. Who were scattered at the time of the Lord, confounded the language of the people when they were building a tower to get to heaven. Well, that's not exactly how the Bible words it. And I don't see Babel here either, which is Lebanon, not Babylon. Right? You know that? Our soldiers who went to Iraq, or National Guardsmen technically, who went to Iraq, as the one who got busted for laundering money to the enemy out there. Out in Riverton. Which, yeah, I have to confess, I made a mistake. It wasn't Lester the child molester Nielsen in West Valley, it was Riverton. In case you caught that. and care. He exposed himself to kids, and he laughed about it and told everybody, "Yeah, I exposed myself to kids." Cool. Threatened me and cursed me, too. What the hell? I'm being gangbanged by my family. My wife is cooing the family relationship, and he's cursing me. Bastard. Which is to show that the remnant of the house of Israel, so I know all about the house of Israel, I know the Bible, I know what they're talking about here. Great things for the children of the fathers, blah, blah, blah. They may know the covenants of the Lord. They are not cast off forever. And also convincing of the Jews and the Gentile that Jesus is the Christ. Okay, so it's a Christian prophecy book. I'm assuming Trinitarian, because I don't know about non-Trinitarian yet. So it's a Christian book now. The eternal God manifesting himself. Wait a minute. The Trinitarian Jesus does not manifest himself. He's not real. Constantine, the first creed of Christianity, says homuzion, which means, by definition, not real. So this is weird. This is some kind of non-Trinitarian Christianity, maybe? I'm confused. It's a prophecy and revelation for the latter days, but somehow this has got Christianity. So yes, I can cheat and say, oh, right, the Gospels with Jesus were written by the Jews as prophecy and revelation for the latter days, and thus are not Christian. So I would expect to see learning of the Jews. Oh, you Mormons thought you had an end, didn't you? The majority of people don't catch on, though. And so, if there are any faults, they are the faults of men. And so then there's an introduction. Oh, now it's the Tower of Babel, because it's Wilford Woodruff's journal entry that they put in the quote here, but it's actually the 1981 intro that was put in for the 1981 triple edition. So we don't need to worry about, we'll skip over the witnesses also, and the testimony of Joseph, which has more stuff about the angel Moroni and the second vision. Huh. So yes, we do kind of need to. It's in the Book of Mormon. And they don't even have any of this footnoted. And so, yeah, they have the incorrect information of it. Good job, guys. And so we need to go back to verse 3. And so, verse 2. On the evening of the 21st of September, 1823. Hey, we just had a bicentennial here. I wonder if the prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints did anything about it. Because it's also the 22nd. Did they keep it up? No. They're old. It's hard to keep it up at that age, I guess. And so he's in praying. Do we see vision in here at all? Because they alter a lot of stuff here. They took out the name of the church, which was edited by Willard Richards. with the Joseph Smith papers. And so, yeah, I still don't know about the Joseph Smith papers to make sure that this is correct. And so he discovers a light appearing in his room, which continued to increase until the room was lighter than at noonday. Huh. The sun at noonday, huh? Okay. I'm sure this is literal history true and is not a prophecy in Revelation, like the Book of Mormon is. This doesn't defy the laws of physics whatsoever. Literal history. So no, I'm smart enough to go, okay, the Book of Mormon is a type of fiction in which it's like the Bible, in which it's the learning of the Jews, even though it doesn't say learning of the Jews, but I know that they were written in the learning of the Jews. The Bible authors were, both Old and New Testament. And that they are prophecies of the Jewish Christ. So yes, I want to get to 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 2. And so yes, he discovers a light appearing in his room, which violates the laws of physics. And so any logical person would go, okay, prophecy and revelation for this too. Book of Mormon, written. Joseph Smith claims to be the author. Says it was prophecy and revelation. It's not a real literal history. They weren't the real Nephites and Lamanites of history, because science says no. So now I see that light of the sun at noonday appears in his room, and he's violating the laws of physics. So this too is a vision. We'll call it a vision, because that's what the prophecies of the Bible stories have. Visions and revelations. And Truly Like Lightning talks about a book. There's a book written on gold plates. Oh, it's gold here too. That would be about 200 pounds. Wow, that's pretty heavy. How did he lift it and run with it? And cows. And so then he talks about the Urim and Thummim constitute seers. I know about the Urim and Thummim from the books of Moses. The priests wore a breastplate, and attached to the breasts was the Urim and Thummim. Right, women? Try to help you out, and you don't care. No. I don't like you. And so, if he shows them to anybody, he's going to be destroyed. So yeah, the same errors from the Joseph Smith translation that the church is refusing to fix from the Joseph Smith papers. All right. And so yeah, he's now talking about destruction. He's being given the Book of Mormon, which were Egyptian gold plates. We don't know it's Egyptian yet. And now, after also the Urim and Thummim, he's now being told of the latter-day prophecies. Prophecy, revelation. Not literal history. So this Joseph Smith account also is not literal history. It's prophesying of the latter days. And the learning of the Jews, the authors of the Bible, and those rejected from the Bible by Christians. Okay. And so Malachi and Isaiah and Acts. I thought he was quoting from the Old Testament prophecies. Why Acts? Oh, because they're the Jewish authors too. And so Joseph Smith was trying to trick us into studying our scriptures so that we learn about this important message that we're going to die in the latter days. That's interesting. He does have the change in here too. Didn't they put that in there also? They did take it out, didn't they? Oh, they do take it out. That's what the ... asterisk is. They did remove that. Naughty boys. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Yep, that. See, it's amazing. I just had an idea. I'm going to do this video. I didn't prepare in advance. I just got inspired. I'm going to do this video because the dumbass made the comment that the church isn't in league with Putin and didn't announce a temple in Russia in the April 2018 General Conference. No. And they didn't come out with the first presidency statement saying that Ukraine should just surrender. Nope. Didn't happen. It's not the church news site. Nope, that's fake. Oh, dear God. Okay. So we're going to skip all the rest, skip the composition of the Book of Mormon. We're going right to the First Nephi. And so, yeah, we read the story thing, the synopsis at the beginning, which again is not footnoted. And we see the record of the Jews first and foremost here. Taketh his brethren and returneth to the land of Jerusalem after the record of the Jews. Interesting. Because you know that the Roman period Jews were the ones who wrote the Bible in the first place. What are they talking about, the record of the Jews? That's strange. But this is prophecy and revelation of the latter days. And so it begins. I, Nephi, having been born of goodly parents, therefore I was taught somewhat in all the learning of my father, and having seen many afflictions in the course of my days, nevertheless having been highly favored of the Lord in all my days, yea, and having had a great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God. Do I know Greek? You don't. Maybe I do. Maybe? Or Jewish mysticism? Maybe? Therefore I make a record of my proceedings in my days. So we'll just file that away for now. Verse 2, finally. 24 minutes in. Yea, I make a record in the language of my father, which consists of the learning of the Jews. Sure enough, just like the Bible, the whole Bible, and nothing, well, everything, even the not in the Bible, learning of the Jews. But wait. Remember that sun at noonday in the language of the Egyptians. What is that? Because we keep on reading, and sure enough, Lehi has a sign in the heavens dream called a vision. And verse 9, and it came to pass that he saw one descending out of the midst of heaven, and behold, his luster was that above the sun at noonday. Just like the person who came to Joseph and gave him a book. Oh, This guy gives Lehi a book. Huh. Joseph's Book of Mormon is about the destruction of the world, but the church took it out. So you have to go to the Joseph Smith history. But here, he's told that the book is about destruction. That's an exact same pattern match. Just unbelievable how inspired I am. And so, you don't know Egyptian. Although I could say, yeah, you know a little Egyptian. You know about certain gods and goddesses. But we'll check a Google search for those of you who don't know any Egyptian whatsoever. We'll see how Google search does on this. Assuming that Google search stops punishing me for the government of Utah suing Google. It's not my fault. I've not been happy with your performance. I blame Google. Sun God at noon day. Ra, also given as Re, a needlepoint thread, is the sun god of ancient Egypt. He is the oldest deities of the oldest deities in the Egyptian pantheon, and was later merged with others such as Horus, becoming Ra Horarti, the morning sun. Jeffrey, God, who did this? World History Encyclopedia, fake news. Amen as noonday sun. Amen. Interesting. I know Emmanuel in Isaiah is the God of the Jews, the name, and thus El is God, and so Amen, El, God Amen. Is that the same? If only I knew Paleo-Hebrew, but nobody's been able to decipher it correctly. I wonder if there's somebody on academia.edu who's posted the results of deciphering Paleo-Hebrew for us, that we can figure this out. So yeah, it can be a little complicated, but the Book of Mormon quotes Isaiah in his name, and then gives us the name of the latter-day Christ. False Christ, I mean. Lucifer. So yeah, this is how you do your research. Not a single Mormon should be fooled by the church if they read. Because in the Book of Mormon, that's where Joseph Smith got it from. 2 Nephi chapter 25 verse 1. Spirit of prophecy, just like Isaiah. And then Mormon chapter 8 verse 33. A book of Revelation. Yeah. Mormon chapter 8 verse 33. The Book of Mormon is revealed as not literal history. It's a book of revelation of the future. So when you do go to 3 Nephi chapter 11, you realize that those little kids really don't know anything about the Book of Mormon, that they're going around telling you to join the church and pay up. And so listen now, understanding that this is a Jewish learning prophecy of the latter days. That this is not literal history. And now it came to pass that there was a great multitude gathered together of the people of Nephi round about the temple which was in the land bountiful. And they were marveling and wondering one with another, and were showing one to another the great and marvelous change which had taken place. And they were also conversing about this Jesus Christ, of whom the sign had been given concerning his death. See, Lehi gives a sign in the heavens which is exactly from Revelation chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and 5. Matches with the Book of Mormon. So, what are they doing? John doesn't put 5 with the 1 and 2 sign in heaven date. How did the Book of Mormon know that needed to be corrected? Oh wait, I've joined the church and I'm paying my dues, so I won't be burned at the second coming. And sure enough, there's this thing called the Joseph Smith translation, which is not really a translation, it's a revision. But regardless, I get to Revelation chapter 12, and sure enough, they move verse 5 to verse 3. Kind of important to our eternal salvation, because that means that Joseph Smith, at least, if not the actual author of the rewritten 116 pages, knew. Because his religion was Jewish mysticism, mysteries of God, Kabbalah. So yes, when I get to the Tree of Life and I'll attach it to the learning of the Jews, I'll type in Jewish Tree of Life, and there it'll be, Kabbalah. Then I learn about Kabbalah, and then I go back into the Book of Mormon with my Jewish Kabbalah understanding. Wow! 23rd September 2017, right at the beginning of the Book of Mormon. That's the latter day beginning. Huh. That's the birth of Jesus. Not in the Roman period time. Non-Trinitarian Jesus is going to be born 23rd September 2017. So yeah, we'll just ignore chapter 20, 23. Jesus says, I am he of whom Moses spake. Learning of the Jews, the law of the Jews. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 15 through 19. A prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren in the Book of Mormon. And so now I'm like, wow. So these missionaries are a part of a church from whom this Messiah shall be born and raised unto, and will start his ministry on the 23rd of September 2017. And his own religious people are going to hate him and try to murder him. Because that's what they wanted to do to Lehi. That's what they did to Joseph Smith. Huh. See, the problem that all of you guys have is that we have all been born and raised in the great and abominable church who lied and deceived and covered up and hid the truth from us. They've altered the interpretation, claiming it's non-Trinitarian Christianity rather than the learning of the Jews. You can see there's a full-on blitz to not tell us. The Book of Mormon took out the part from the Joseph Smith history explaining the Book of Mormon. Oh my God. Because verse 24 comes from Acts. All the prophets from Samuel and those that followed after have testified of me, prophesied. That's from Acts. That's supposed to be after Jesus. Oops! This is the latter-day Jewish Christ. And Joseph Smith, right here in the Book of Mormon. You don't even need to go to section 103, verse 16. Or section 107, verse 91. And so we have to purge from our minds all of the corruption that the church has put in us and redo our study of all scriptures using the learning of the Jews. And yeah, Joseph Smith is now right. The prophecies are accurate. They've been happening. Because it's been a long time since 23rd September 2017. So long. But the question you have to ask yourselves is that message that the church removed from the intro of the Book of Mormon of urgency? Because the date had come and gone. But this is it, 2023. So Plan B is in operation. I'm still betting on conference weekend, because government can be involved at the same time. But again, you'd have to learn how to interpret the learning of the Jews' manner of prophecy and revelation, replacing Jesus with Emmanuel, that latter-day Christ, replacing the antagonist with the president of the great and abominable church. Of who? Latter-day Saints. Jesus. So, yeah. I mean, dear God. Just, because otherwise, your preconceived biases told by others, you now are their puppet. And you're going around making claims that my brother wasn't threatened by the church, that Nelson's not threatening to murder us, and that the church has no business involvements with Putin. Notice he didn't even bother to talk about G or Saudi Arabia as just Putin he's defending. Oh my God. Not even Trump. Oh my